Was it right for the Burnley man behind the White Lives Matter banner to be fired from his engineering job? 0344 499 1000. This is the Burnley fan, and he's behind, as I said, the White Lives Matter banner. He flew over the Etihad Stadium, and he's now been sacked by his engineering firm where he worked, as he defiantly says, "I'm not racist. I'd do it all again." The fella's name is Jake Heppel. He was dismissed as his job as a welder by a company called Paradigm Precision. That happened earlier today. The 24-year-old insisted, "I'm not racist," he said. And he said that police visited him on Tuesday to say that he would not be facing criminal charges. So yesterday it was decided he wouldn't face criminal charges. Today it's been revealed he's lost his job. Should he firstly be surprised that he lost his job? Jane has given me a call in, where are you, Jane? Manchester. Hello, Jane.
Hi, you alright?
It's my mother's name, so it's always a nice name for someone to talk to.
Oh, that's nice.
Good. So, Jane, what's on your mind? You want to talk about this fella? Should he have lost his job? Should it have been surprising to him he lost his job?
No, it shouldn't. No. He shouldn't have lost his job, and it shouldn't be surprised. I mean, it's actually surprising to me that he did lose his job.
Why?
Because you said, actually, that's what prompted me to call. You said he should have expected it. Why? Yeah.
Because he was because he was deliberately trying to provoke racial
How do you know that he was deliberately
because
trying
he's admitted it, that it was as a result of Black Lives Matter.
What he actually said was 3 white people were killed, and then he put that banner up, and nobody was talking about the 3 white people and 3 white gay people who were killed, and he thought it was ridiculous that people would be
firstly, again, I'll explain why I don't buy that as a response. Firstly,
that's fine that you don't buy it, but other people might. Firstly, you can't tell people what to think.
Well, firstly, I can give my opinion, and people like yourself can call up and tell me why you're wrong. Exactly, and I welcome you doing that. There's no need for us to fall out, Jane.
Can you let me speak, please?
Yeah, but I'm just trying to read you what he actually wrote on Facebook. Can I read you what he wrote on Facebook? He said
he wouldn't apologise for it, and why should he?
And he said the idea for it came from a football pal of mine. He wanted to make the point that not just Black Lives Matter, but so do white ones and all other ones. So you've just said that it wasn't as a result of Black Lives Matter, and I'm telling you he actually wrote it on Facebook that it was.
And isn't this actual whole thing supposed to create conversation, reaction and debate? Why do only some people's opinions matter depending on what colour their skin is?
Well, it depends on, I would think, my opinion is it depends on the intent behind that opinion. Now, if you've got people...
But you're actually deciding what his intent was.
No, I'm reading what he wrote on Facebook to tell you what his intent was.
Off what he wrote on Facebook.
Yes,
you know
well, his own words. Who else's words would I use to decide his intent other than his own words? Well, who else's words would I use?
People's words can be misconstrued.
But he's he's actually spoken to the Mail since and said exactly the same thing.
He's not allowed to be proud that he says white lives matter. Is that something?
No, not in the context of trying to undermine the message of black.
I want to tell you right now, I'm half black and half white.
Right.
And I love both sides of my ethnicity. I love my black heritage and my white heritage. Neither one of them is responsible for the sins of the past.
Well, hey, brilliant. Well, we agree with that.
For the sins of the father. Why are people trying to blame other people and group people together into little tidy boxes?
Great.
Agendas.
We agree. I agree on that.
You're buying into this.
No. I have criticised.
You are very condescending and patronising. You are very condescending.
All right, Jane. So I have repeatedly on this programme criticised the political side of the Black Lives Matter movement.
Political side? Yes. It's only a political side.
No, there's also, in fairness, before it...
do not care about black people. They don't care about black lives. They care about political...
Okay, now, Jane, now you keep saying I'm interrupting you, whereas in actual fact, every time I start a sentence, you speak over me.
I apologise.
Right. This is how I perceive it, and you can perceive it a different way. But I perceive it that there is the Black Lives Matter hashtag, the Black Lives Matter movement in response to...
separate the two.
Okay, are you going to let me finish? That's your first strike, Jane. So there are the two. There is either the hashtag and then there is the political organisation. Now, the political organisation, I quite agree with you. When you look at their demands, it is absolutely ridiculous. They want to abolish capitalism. They want to abolish the police. I do not agree with that.
Heteronormativity,
But
the nuclear family.
The spirit of black lives having the same equality and the same opportunity to stay alive in comparison to white lives in the context of police violence and what's happening in the States, that principle I agree with. Now, on the subject...
How many white people are killed in the States by police violence?
And are they disproportionately being killed? Are they disproportionately being killed unarmed?
Actually, they are, compared to the actual demographic.
No. I know that the statistics tell us that there are white people who are killed by black people, but do you know the story behind each one?
And the numbers tell the story my way. I know the story behind each one. It's police brutality and authority taking extreme measures where they have no right to, because constitutions have gone out the window now. Everyone wants to kick democracy out of the window, when democracy is the only thing that the only voice the people have got.
Do you believe that someone flying, well, presumably you don't, the White Lives Matter banner in response to taking the knee for the Black Lives Matter movement, you don't think that that is undermining or an attempt to... Well, how can you answer my question when I've not finished it, Jane?
Why are they taking the knee? Taking the knee is subjugation.
Oh, great. Now, you don't agree with the knee. That's great. Now, do you not...
Because that's telling me that my grandfather, who fought in the Second World War, who was a white guy, was a racist. I'm black, for God's sake. That's my grandfather.
I don't think that all white people are racist by taking the knee.
That you don't think that, because you wouldn't believe that from the mainstream media, the BBC and everything, that all white people in this country have to put up with every day. And you know something? You keep on boiling the frog slowly, eventually it's going to explode.
Right, and do you think White Lives Matter banners?
It's not white people doing this, it's Black Lives Matter.
Right, and do you think...
White people.
Okay, Jane, do you not agree that flying the White Lives Matter banner in response to Black Lives Matter, or All Lives Matter as well, I have to say, All Lives Matter, I think, undermines the message of Black Lives Matter.
You think All Lives Matter undermines the message? Do you think all lives don't matter?
No, that's not what I said.
Why do you think it undermines the message?
I said the All Lives Matter message undermines, in the context of the Black Lives Matter message, undermines it.
It's contradictory. That is very newspeak and very 1984.
No, it really isn't. Would you like me to explain why, or are you going to rant on me about 1984?
Please try to explain why All Lives Matter undermines the message of Black Lives Matter.
Yeah, absolutely.
Black Lives not part of all lives.
No, not saying that either.
They have to be continuously separated for other people's political agendas.
Well, it depends on whether you believe that there is a crisis in the States when it comes to the lives of black people. Now, if you don't believe that...
This is England. That's the United States of America.
Well, if you don't...
not the United States of America. We have our own problems. They've got their...
Fine. Okay, brilliant. So you don't subscribe to that. But what I am telling you is... If you believe, and if you are one of those people who genuinely believes that there is a crisis that black people are facing, actually in the States and here, because it's over...
facing this crisis from authoritarian...
So all people are facing... All people are facing...
Do you think that people in Syria are worried about black people?
Jane,
do you think that people in North Korea are worried about black people?
Jane,
do you think people in America are worried about Irish people?
Jane, when there was a terror attack in Manchester, my love...
I live in Manchester.
Yes, I know. That's why I've asked you. That's why I've told you about the terror attack in Manchester.
I watched those little girls crying.
Exactly. So how did you feel about
Don't try and tell me how I feel.
Well, that's why I'm asking you, Jane. I'm not trying to tell you. I'm asking you. How did you feel about the Love Manchester stuff and the Bumblebee stuff?
By our government, that's how I felt.
And how did you feel?
By our government, that's how I felt.
How did you feel about the Love Manchester and the Bumblebee stuff?
I thought it was useless fluff that wasn't going to change a thing. And lots of celebrities made a lot of money.
Right. So you didn't agree with people rallying around Manchester after the terror attack?
They can rally around, but what did it change?
Well, it didn't change anything, but it probably opened a debate and it made people feel better. So, Jane, I've got another question for you.
By white police officers.
Right, I've got a question for you. So, therefore, we agree that it was a nice thing that there was were people.
This isn't the time for nice. This is the time for facts.
This was a nice thing that people decided that they were using the Manchester hashtag and Love Manchester and all those things as a result of the terror attack. And yeah, you're right, might not have changed much.
What's the slogan of Manchester too? The worker bee, like we're some colony.
All right, so
we can't think for ourselves.
How would you have felt after the Manchester terror attack when people were posting things online and talking about how sad they were about the number of people killed in the Manchester attack? How would you have felt if I'd come on and said, well, actually, sorry, all cities matter and all terror attacks matter? Why is everyone banging on about Manchester?
You're trying to give me a straw man.
No, I'm not. I'm trying to give you a comparison. I'm trying to give you a comparison.
Those little girls crying and dying.
Exactly. So therefore, you would have felt very.
Situation with another.
Sorry, Jane, are you actually able to debate, Jane, or are you just going to shout at me?
I wish more people cared about the little girls in the north, and then more.
Well, hang on, but why don't all lives matter? Why don't all lives matter, Jane? Why are you concentrating on those people killed in that terror attack? Why don't all lives matter?
I'm the one who's arguing for all lives mattering. How dare you?
So all lives matter, though. Why were you worrying about what people were saying about Manchester, Jane? All lives matter. All lives matter.
Wait a minute. I've just told you 5 times I live in Manchester.
Exactly. And so it would have been absolutely shocking to you, wouldn't it?
People are my neighbours and
exactly.
Friends. How dare you?
Exactly. So it would have been extremely frustrating and upsetting had someone... Let's take another one. Let's take September the 11th in 2001. Well, in fairness, Jane, I mean, with respect...
Gaslight me and straw man me.
I'm not trying to...
I'm not stupid. I am not one of those people who are uneducated, who don't see what's going on in the world.
Well, with respect, you're not acting like a particularly polite or educated person at the moment, Jane. You're actually
I'm not polite.
No,
you are the most impolite person I've ever heard on. Wait, apart from James O'Brien.
You're talking over me. Whenever I ask you a question, you decide that you're going to answer it before I've even finished what I'm speaking. You're really impolite. You're really rude.
You people too, haven't you? You've got all the power in this conversation, Cristo.
No, well, I'm not trying to stop you speaking. I've given you absolutely more than airtime than you probably deserve.
I would love you to just justify how you tried to say I didn't care about the little girls who died in the Manchester Arena attack.
I mean, sorry, are you also unable to actually hear properly, my love?
Apologise, Cristo.
Well, I'm not going to apologise for something I didn't say. Perhaps if you actually realised that you've got 2 ears and 1 mouth and kept your mouth closed for a few seconds, you'd understand what I was saying.
I care about the little girls who died in the north.
No, what I said was, how would you feel if in reaction to people who were posting support for Manchester, they reacted? I was trying to use a metaphor.
By saying, oh, by the way, more Muslims are harmed by terrorist attacks. They did. Cristo.
No, I didn't say that again as well. Why are you making up things that I said, Jane? Is it because you need to strengthen your argument?
What you do? Am I putting words into your mouth, Cristo?
No. Would you like me to ask you the question that you seem to object to again? Are you going to be able? Do you think you can restrain yourself for 20 seconds?
Cristo?
Do you think you could restrain yourself for 20 seconds? Do you think you could restrain yourself for 20 seconds to be able to answer a question?
Can you restrain your mouth?
Well, I need to open it to ask a question, my love.
I'll allow that.
That's so kind of you. Thank you. Let's see if you can manage the 20 seconds. Okay, so...
Is that when you're going to cut me off?
No, you didn't. There we go. You see, you didn't even manage half a second, did you? And then you claim that you're a polite woman who's able to have a conversation, Jane. Have a lovely evening, Jane. Have a lovely evening, Jane. Really good to talk to you. That's Jane in Manchester. The point I was trying to make to Jane, but unfortunately she couldn't keep her mouth closed long enough to be able to hear it, was that obviously, if in reaction to a big terror attack, whether that be Manchester or New York or wherever it might be, a lot of people post support, don't they, for that particular city. Manchester had loads of support, quite rightly, after the terror attack. Now, how would you have felt if you were someone who was hugely supportive, rightfully, of what was happening and of the reaction of trying to show support to Manchester? How would you have felt if when posting Manchester, love Manchester, those things, someone had reacted to that saying, well, look, all cities matter and all terror attack victims. And sorry, why are you concentrating on Manchester? All lives matter. You would feel like that was undermining your respect and the message you're making about Manchester. And that's where I see the similarity with Black Lives Matter. Now, whether you agree or disagree with the Black Lives Matter cause, and that's, of course, you're welcome to do so if you want to disagree with it, the political arm of it, if you are deliberately posting something like All Lives Matter or White Lives Matter as a reaction to that, you're undermining the message in the same way as you would be if you were to put All Lives Matter or All Cities Matter in response to someone showing support to Manchester after a terror attack. Because what you do is you focus on where the crisis is at that moment. And when it came to the terror attack, it was Manchester. When it comes to Black Lives, it's Black Lives. And that's how I see it, but I really appreciate you take a different view. 0344 499 1000. Call and tell me why you think I'm wrong. We'll try and not talk over each other, though, because it gets very, very, well, difficult to listen to, frankly. All of that and more coming up here on Talk Radio.